is we wanted to have an opportunity for you to meet one of our patients who has a great story to share with you. She is going to be telling about her journey over the last year and her experience as a patient here at Turnpaugh. So I'm going to be kind of doing a question and answer interview type thing. So right now I'm going to invite Allie Howard to come on up. You should clap for her because she is super brave to be able to come and share her story with you tonight. It is a little overwhelming when you stand up in front of people and you are sharing your story and a little bit about what's going on in your life. So thank you so much for being willing to share. So I appreciate that.
My pleasure.
So this is Allie. And Allie, can you tell us a little bit about how long you've been a patient at Turnpaugh?
1 year.
Exactly 1 year.
A year and 5 days. Yeah.
Well, she really knows. She was counting. She paid attention. What made you choose Turnpaugh?
I was at my rock bottom, basically. Sorry, I have this written down because I forget. So I dealt with health issues the last 10 years of my life, and it basically came to a point where I couldn't walk, couldn't care for myself, and I knew modern medicine, antibiotics, those types of things were not feasible long term. So thankfully, my mom got me into Turnpaugh with Dr. Shannon so quickly, and it radically changed my life. It's more feasible to live a healthy lifestyle than to just treat the symptoms forever.
So can you tell us a little bit about what was going on prior to your first appointment that made you say, I can't do this anymore, other than you said you were having trouble walking, you were having trouble functioning. Mm-hmm. Can you paint us a little bit of a picture of like what was going on that made you have those symptoms?
Absolutely. So 10 years ago, I got bit by a tick, was misdiagnosed with arthritis, treated for 2 years for that. Symptoms were getting worse. When I was finally diagnosed with Lyme disease by a Lyme's literate doctor in Bloomsburg, who treated with antibiotics, and that worked when you were on the antibiotics, but as soon as you went off, the symptoms came back. I battled with that for a while until I knew that wasn't going to be a long term. I didn't want to have to deal with this the rest of my life. And so when I came to Turnpaugh, it was a completely different picture where they weren't just treating the symptoms. They wanted to find the root cause, and I don't have those symptoms anymore. I'm, living a better lifestyle now, and I'm able to do so much more basically like before I got sick, which I never thought I'd ever feel again.
Wow, that's awesome. Can you explain a little bit about the process? Because once you speak with the new patient coordinator, they schedule you for your first visit. Can you talk a little bit, because some of these people might not have ever experienced that and might not know what to expect. So your first visit, tell us a little bit about what happens at your first visit.
So even before my first visit, I was desperate, and with my mom's help, she was already a patient of Dr. Shannon's. I was already on like a gluten-free, dairy-free, sugar-free, basically anything
free
of
everything good, right?
Except eggs. I lived on eggs and meat and eggs. And so I did that prior to my first appointment just because I didn't want my symptoms to get any worse. But at the first visit with Dr. Shannon, he asked me so many questions from 10 years ago when I first got sick, because it all matters.
It's all coming back to me.
And then based on that, he ordered blood work, which I got done right at the Mechanicsburg office. And that was the first step I knew, because they did my blood work there, I recognize how time sensitive some blood work is, and because of the lab nurses, I think Tammy might have been there, they saw how my blood reacted. It basically turned me on green. So I was bleeding green, and yes, this is a plug-in for John Deere because they're the best. But basically, I was bleeding green, which is not normal, and that led Dr. Shannon to say, "Oh, she's got copper in her blood. Okay, we got to know how much and why." So that was the first step, and modern medicine wouldn't have caught that. Like, they probably would have just brushed it under the rug, didn't notice it. So that was the first step in my healing journey, which made all the difference in catching it early, treating it aggressively, doing IVs, foot detoxes, getting the copper out of my body, which ultimately was caused by my birth control that I was taking. So that was, yeah, definitely a journey that I am no longer on, and I'm much healthier and happier me.
So you have first your 1 hour appointment, then you have your lab work, and then you have your second appointment. Tell us a little bit about your second appointment, other than it feels like a fire hydrant of information coming at you.
Yeah. They give you a journal for a reason. You literally should take a video, like a recorder, to just video or, record the whole conversation. And you try to write down everything, but basically they go over your food sensitivities. Thankfully, I didn't have a whole lot, but I was still, gluten-free, dairy-free, sugar-free. And they go over your blood results and figure out your treatment plan from there.
Awesome. So then after that, then you also have nutrition appointments. So what was that? How did that help you in your journey, the nutrition appointments?
So,
because you said you were already gluten-free, dairy-free, sugar-free. So sometimes people are already doing those things, so they're like, why do I need to go to the nutritionist? So tell us a little bit about that.
She was very helpful. I saw Carrie particularly, and she was very helpful in figuring out new recipes, because I was trying to cook for me and my husband, and he gets sick of eggs. So I can eat eggs every day, but he can't, and I had to modify our lifestyle. It's a lifestyle change. It never felt like a diet, and it doesn't feel like a diet because it's sustainable. It's, you're eating, it's meats and vegetables and fruits occasionally if they're not super high in sugar, which I battle with sugar, mostly related to a yeast infection due to years of antibiotics. So that's very real.
So what have been the largest changes in your life since coming to Turnpaugh and having this major change in your health?
I can walk.
Praise the Lord.
I look forward to going on vacations. I don't have to be thinking, okay, in an hour I need to find a bench, to sit down for 15 minutes. I can go in long car rides and not get stiff. And I used to be afraid to not sleep in my bed because my bed was the only thing that made me not hurt. But now I can sleep in, hotel beds and live a normal life like a 30-year-old.
That's awesome. So what would you tell someone here tonight who hasn't experienced Turnpaugh and hasn't walked into this health journey themselves? What would you tell them, someone who might be on the fence about whether this is something they should try or not?
As anyone who knows me knows, I recommend Turnpaugh Health and Wellness, specifically Dr. Shannon, to everyone and anyone I talk to, because he's awesome, and he radically changed my life, because they all genuinely care, specifically everyone at the Richfield location. Like, they genuinely care. They recognize that the Lord plays a vital part in complete healing, which I agree with 100%. And they're here to, like, help equip their patients with the knowledge to live healthy lifestyles. They're not just like modern medicine, in and out in 15 minutes, and, you know, just want to treat the symptoms, want to pop a pill. They genuinely care about the long game. But last but certainly not least, I credit the Lord working through Dr. Shannon with the healing that happened in my body. I no longer have Lyme disease. I'm, you know, recovered. And the Lord heals, but he brings people into your lives that he uses. And I genuinely believe Turnpaugh's here for that reason.
Thank you so much, Allie, for
My
sharing.
pleasure.